Hi, everyone. Welcome to Lit Themes Summer School Edition. This will be a 5-week course, so it runs from June 6th through July 9th. So it's really important because it's so short that you really stay on top of the weekly assignments, okay? Just really briefly before we get into the course, my name is Miss Zap. I will be your teacher this year. I am an English teacher at Belleville East, and I know most of you on my roster attend Belleville West. So we likely will never meet in person, but this is who I am. You can contact me at dzap@bths201.org, and you can also Google chat me at any time. That goes directly to my phone, so I can contact you pretty quickly. I will say if you're ever sending me an assessment, and we'll talk about those here in a second, please email me that just because I'll see it and get your grade updated more quickly. Okay. Let's talk about the course really quickly. This is an independent reading course. And this is just some information about why you want to be a lifelong reader. So, students who read for as little as 20 minutes a day have the following results. So, you will see better standardized testing scores, better grades overall. You are more likely to vote, be employed with a high paying job. So, people who read more make more money. And then this one, you're more likely to live longer. And despite those benefits, what's alarming is most people don't do this. Most people do not read 20 minutes a day. So 20% of adults, 40% of teens do not do this and therefore do not have these amazing benefits. So you really do want to get in the habit of being a daily reader. A little overview of the course. So I will post all assignments on Google Classroom by 8:30 each Monday. It will likely be before that. I'm an early riser. And then all of your assignments will be due for the week by Sunday at midnight. Obviously, you are welcome to work ahead. As far as your grade, 50% of your grade will come from your weekly assignment. So weekly, you will have reading logs. Um, you'll see that already on Google Classroom today, but essentially each week you are logging a summary of what you've read, you are pulling quotes and analyzing the quotes, and there's an example at the top of that log for you so you kind of understand the expectation. Additionally, each week you will either have a Google form quiz or an ed puzzle. This week's is just an overview of the course to make sure that you've watched this video and read through our syllabus and stuff. In future weeks, they will be more geared towards reading strategies, reading tips, things like that. Okay. So your grade is half of the weekly work and then half of the independent novel assessments. And we'll talk about those here briefly. Most of you will be completing 2 assessments unless you choose to read a classic book. Talking about novel selection. So your novel should be within the 9 to 12 grade levels. And you can go to the Belleville West Library to pick out a book. You can use our online web sources to get a book. You can read a book that you already have at home but have not already read. You just want to be aiming for titles that are from the 9 to 12 grade level. Okay. And if you need help figuring out what level it is, please reach out to me and I can help you with that. The exception for this is if you are normally in like a remedial title class, please reach out to me. The 9 to 12 grade level might be too high. And so if you think you fall into that category, reach out to me and I can check your reading levels, your STAR test scores online, and then I can help you pick out a more appropriate grade level. Okay. The librarian can also help you with this. The novels you pick need to be at least 100 pages, and you'll be reading 2 of those novels within the 5 weeks. Okay. So you want to kind of plan accordingly and try to have your first assessment done within the first 2.5 weeks so you can finish your second assessment in the last 2.5 weeks. You might choose to read a classic. So these are like your Oliver Twist, your Little Women. Those classic novels are significantly longer than some of our young adult reads. So if that's the case, you'll be approved for 1 book, but you will be completing a Google sheet to let me know what your novel selection is, and I will approve or deny those. So make sure you get that completed. You're going to want to get that done by Wednesday so you can start reading by Thursday. Okay. And your goal here is to be reading 1 hour every day. That's really what you need to do to keep up with class demands. I know that seems a lot for some of you. Like that will be challenging for many of you who are not used to doing this daily. So work up to it. Like set goals for yourself. If you have to start 15 minutes, that's fine. Work yourself up to 1 hour. But by the end, hopefully you'll be reading 1 hour a day and finding yourself um, able to kind of keep your attention more. You will notice so quickly how the more you read, the better your vocabulary will be, the more you'll be able to comprehend what you're reading. I think you'll notice those results pretty quickly. Okay. Real quick, your assessments, these are your three options, and they are described in more detail on Google Classroom underneath the course overview section, underneath that classwork tab. But these will be your three options. You can complete a book talk. You can do that on Flipgrid, Screencastify, whatever's easy for you, basically just whatever I'll be able to open whenever you email me it. The second option, this is the least popular option. You can take an online test that is very specific to your book. This is made by an online resource. I do not make these tests. I will say they are very specific. So, detail oriented, these tend to be the least popular because they are pretty hard. And you're at that point just kind of stuck with your score. The most popular assessment that students tend to choose are these open ended responses. You'll see I've already posted the first one on Google Classroom, so you can look those out. But students tend to like those more because you have time to prepare them. But again, totally up to you. Okay, and then really quickly, I just want to talk about how the Google Classroom will be set up. So the stream section, I'll post there periodically. For sure on Mondays, I'll just kind of give you through a suggested schedule for the week to keep pace with the class demands. And then the classwork tab is where you'll be doing most of your work. So that's where you'll see the weekly logs. And again, I have those outlined by topic. So you'll see weekly logs, and then underneath those each week, I'll post week one reading logs, week two reading logs. So that should be pretty self explanatory. Make sure you're paying attention to the due dates because you will be penalized 50% if you submit anything late. Okay. Then another section of the classwork tab will be for your assessments. Right now, I have that first assessment open. And then once we get to the midpoint, I'll open up the second assessment. So again, if you want to work ahead, you'll be able to do that. The assessments there are specifically for that open-ended response. So if you choose to do option A or B, that's totally fine. You'll just email me that, and then we'll set up a time if you want to take a test, or you can just email me directly your book talk. The last section you'll see on Google Classroom is the class overview section. Right now, that has this video, it has our syllabus, it has information about selecting a book. A lot of our online library resources are there. And then I've also linked like the Read for a Lifetime list and the Abraham Lincoln list. Those are all really popular books for adolescents. Those books are chosen specifically with high schoolers in mind. So if you're just kind of thinking, I have no idea what I want to read, that would be a good place to go. The last section you will eventually see is when we have our weekly ed puzzle or our weekly article. So I'll post there. But again, for this week, your weekly assignment is the the Google form that goes over the class information. Okay. If you guys have any question after watching this video and reading through all those additional docs, again, please reach out to me. I would do that before you take your form your form test if you have any questions. Okay. So again, dzap at bths201 if you need me.